I was just reminded by Jake here to tell you a story of how I got involved in the world of mixed martial arts. I was the head coach at BYU. I had just finished my career as a wrestler. In 1988, I went out kind of dismal failure. I felt like I went out a loser in the 88 Olympics, which, you know, I did. I lost. But I was representing this club called Team Foxcatcher, run by John DuPont, who was a total loser, drug addict, murderer. Anyway, so I couldn't really win. I didn't feel representing this club just wasn't right. And so I left. I went back to BYU. Something brought me to BYU. It was the only place with Division I wrestling in the state of Utah. Up until that time, I hated Mormons, and I got to know the head coach there, and he told me about Joseph Smith, the prophet, and that we have a living prophet on earth today. And he convinced me, after I read the Book of Mormon, that it really was another testament of Jesus Christ. And I became a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I know that church is true. I know the Book of Mormon is true, and I know we have a living prophet today on the earth. And after I joined the church, I got a call from a guy that said that the greatest jiu-jitsu fighter in the world was in town. Do you want to fight him? I was like, what are the rules? He's like, there are no rules. And I was like, are we going to bite each other's throats out? Is there going to be a homicide? I mean, what's going to happen? And he's like, just, do you want to fight him or not? I said, okay, I'll fight him. I'm not going to let some guy punk me and make me back down. I'm not that type of guy that's going to, I just can't do it. I can't live with myself. I'd rather die. So I said, I'll do it. So I spent the next week sweating my butt off. Until this day came. And the guy that called me is a liar. There was a lot of rules that we were doing, but he was trying to intimidate me and scare me. Make me think that I was getting something that I wasn't. Anyway, I show up in the wrestling room at BYU, and there's Rickson Gracie. And Rickson has his head shaved back to here, and then he's got this really long ponytail. And he's on his butt, he's scooting in towards my friend and head coach Alan Albright, trying to hook his heels and stuff. But anyway, I show up in the room, and Rickson gets up off the ground. He looks at me, he's like, are you the guy? And Rickson's got big, thick, fat, cauliflower ears. And I'm like looking at his ears going, this guy's been through some wrestling, some grappling, you know. And I'm like, this guy is a tough guy. And he goes, are you the guy? I go, yeah, I'm the guy. And he goes, okay, what I do is I punch, I kick, I headbutt, I knee. But we're not going to do that today. We're just going to submission grapple until one of us gives up. And I was like, totally believed there wasn't going to be a homicide. And so he just stands in the middle of the mat and he just is like this, you know, let's go. And so I was like, okay. And I just went in and took him down, put him in a cradle for about 20 minutes. Finally, my grip just kind of gave out. You know, I had him in a cradle for so long. And, you know, I'm thinking, you know, don't you have any pride? I've never done submission, right? So I'm thinking, don't you have any pride? Get off your back. You know, I had you pinned for 20 minutes, you know. And so he doesn't care. He's just laying there. And so, anyway, my grip just couldn't hold out for more than 20 minutes. And I just finally gave that. And I gave him a triangle. I never saw what he was doing. So he puts the triangle on me, makes me tap out. And I said, let's go again. You know, I want to do that again. That's really cool what you did here. So we went again, and I had him in another cradle. I took him down another 20 minutes, you know. And I tried all these moves. I'm making moves up on the spot, you know. And the only thing I knew was in judo, you keep your chin down, you keep your elbows back. So that's all I was trying to do. And so I was trying to make it. Yeah, I couldn't get him in anything. And finally, I thought, well, I've been on top of him for 20 minutes. What happens if I let him go on top of me? And so I let him reverse me. And, of course, I'm a wrestler, so my instinct is belly down, right? Well, he just went, and it was over. You know, and he got me again. And Rickson is a really good guy, by the way. I like Rickson a lot. I I don't know what the other Gracie's promotions are. I don't know, what their interactions are with other people. But Rickson personally, I really like a lot. And his student, Pedro Sauer, I really like a lot. And I became a student of Pedro Sauer. And Pedro Sauer was in my corner at the UFC. And he just left a note at my house the other day that he's moving to Virginia. So he's out of Utah now. But now, what would have been the difference if this really would have been a fight to the death? What would have been the difference if this really would have been outside on the concrete? Who knows? I mean, it could have been totally different. The guy on the phone lied to me, but the bottom line is, it was really a blessing, because what happened was I became a student of mixed martial arts. I learned stuff that I never would have learned if I had just stayed in wrestling, and I competed in the UFC and I won. And I went out a winner like I wanted to go out, like I always wanted to go out. And that was really important. So it was a blessing, really.